Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, your go-to podcast for all things green and growing. I'm Ben, your allotment guide, and here to help you cultivate your garden and your passion for plants. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, this podcast is for you. Each episode will dig into tips, tricks and techniques to make your garden and allotment thrive. From planting, sowing and growing, we will share all the tips and advice. We will also have regular episodes talking about what we have been up to on the allotment. So sit back, grab a brew and enjoy today's episode. Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Gardening with Ben. Oh, you've been getting a podcast every single day at the moment. Aren't you all lucky? If you're not following this podcast, make sure you click the follow button, make sure you click the subscribe button, and then click the bell as well, and you'll get notified when new podcasts come up. We usually launch them about 7 o'clock in the morning so that you can listen to them either on the way to work, while you're walking your dog, making your morning brew, wherever you want to listen to it. But we're starting to get these episodes out pretty regular now. And yeah, we've got quite a lot to talk about at the moment because obviously it's the big time of the year at the moment. It's quite big in the garden, so things are happening. There's lots of jobs that need doing. So there's lots to talk about here on the podcast. And thank you for all the new people that are listening. And thank you for those who return and keep listening episode after episode. I do get a lot of feedback from you all, which is fantastic. It's always good to hear from people that do listen to the podcast. So today, what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about harvesting. It's getting to that time of year when we're starting to harvest our produce. Things are coming along, things are getting ready, and it's time to start picking all that produce. And one thing I notice is that everything seems to come at the same time. Once like a few strawberries start ripening, then they'll all start coming. Same goes for raspberries. The lettuce, they're all ready at the same time, and then they all go to seed at the same time if you don't pick them fast enough. So you don't learn by the things that you do. Sometimes they say you shouldn't plant things all at once. You should plant them like a few weeks at a time separate so that they're all ready at separate times. But you don't listen, do you? Everybody just plants them all at the same time, and then everything seems to be ready at the same time. Well, obviously things are starting to get to the time of harvesting. You should be harvesting your lettuces. Lettuces starting to get ready. Potatoes, the first lot of potatoes will be starting to get ready. Peas will be starting to. I noticed some of my dad's, they were nearly ready for picking, so you best watch out. I might be pinching them soon. But yeah, peas are ready. Obviously your strawberries, your radishes should be ready. And yeah, everything will start to come ready. And obviously, as you're harvesting these things, as well as like spring onion as well, is replacing them with new stuff. Because just think, like, you may have had these in the ground for 2 to 3 months to get growing. Well, obviously things will grow a lot faster, fingers crossed, when the weather does warm up. Things should grow a lot faster, and some of the vegetables are pretty fast growing, like your lettuce, your radishes, your spring onions. Things do grow pretty fast, some things. So as you're harvesting these produce, you need to be replacing them and getting more stuff back in the ground, because if you think about it, if you plant these stuff now, they should be ready come September, so you'll be able to get another harvest of crops before the year's out, because once it gets to like September, you won't have a chance to plant anything again for this year unless it's winter vegetables. So it's important to keep replacing what you're harvesting to get the most out of your garden and out of your allotment. And the best thing is around now is that you don't need to waste a lot of money on like compost in growing them all in seed trays. You can start a lot of them off in the ground outside in the right place that they want to be in. And obviously if you planted them outside, they'll need a lot more protection because there is slugs about. Slugs will come and eat them, so you need to protect them, and pigeons and birds and stuff like that. So you do need to protect them when you are planting them outside. but make the most of growing stuff outside. It's warmer, it's not cold at night. Well, anyone would think it is winter here in England at the moment. It certainly has felt like it where I am. Will someone please let me know when the hot weather is coming? We need some hot weather. But yeah, keep replacing what you're growing. So I'm going to be harvesting my garlic this week. I'm going to harvest some lettuce this week. I'm going to be harvesting my strawberries this week. And what else? My loganberries are looking ready soon. They just need to start ripening. I've got loads and loads of loganberries on my loganberry bush. Now, my dad gave me some cuttings from that a few years ago, and it's looking absolutely fantastic. To get cuttings from loganberry plants, all you do is put the end of the whip in some soil, and it'll get some roots on it. And then once it's got some roots on it, just snip that end of the whip off, and there you are, you'll have some runners. And that's all he did for me, and I've got some fantastic ones growing. And loganberries, the whips grow for miles. Like, you can grow them all the way down the side of a garden, or you can grow them over an archway. It will be fantastic. So if you're wanting to grow some fruit, try grow some loganberries. They're absolutely delicious. We've grown them for years, loganberries, and you can make some nice jam as well with it. So hopefully we'll be getting some loganberries off soon. Oh, and I need to look at my peas. My peas are covered up to high heaven in netting. I have protected my peas with fortunes of netting. The birds will not eat them. The mice will not eat them. The rats will not eat them. I have protected them with my life, because I have had issues in the past where I've planted peas out and they've all been eaten. So I'm protecting them with my life. I'm surprised I'm not even sleeping down there while they're growing. So hopefully we'll be having some peas soon. And again, all the peas seem to be ready at the same time. And once the peas have been harvested, do not dig the plants up out of the garden. Snip them off so that the roots are still in the ground, and the nitrogen goes back into the soil from the pea plant that you've grown. So if you've never tried growing peas before, remember to snip the plants off at the bottom once you've harvested all your peas, and all the nitrogen and the goodness will go back into the soil. The same goes for runner beans, for climbing beans. Snip them off at the bottom, and the nitrogen goes back into the soil, and it helps feed it. So then you can plant some more stuff, and we've got a lot of stuff that we're going to be planting over the next few days. We've got a load more peas. I planted like a late cropping of peas so that we'll get a second batch growing. I've got some more climbing beans to plant. We've got loads of sweet corn plants to plant. We've got some beetroot to plant. We've got some lettuce to plant. We've got some spring onions to plant. We've got carrots to plant. We've got so much to plant down at the allotment. But this is my favourite time of the year. I absolutely love it. And if I could spend all my time down at the allotment, I would do. And it's just a place where I love to be. I've often said I work shifts, so I'll end up in the flat for 4 days on a time when I won't even go out of the house. And it's a time when I can just be outside, enjoy the sunshine, and relax, really. So if you are harvesting stuff, please do let me know. I'm going to be sharing lots and lots of photos again soon of me harvesting all my produce. I'm sorry, but I'll warn you in advance. As soon as I'm harvesting stuff, photos will be coming up galore, and it's making up for all the lack of social media that I did last year, because I was so quiet last year. But this year I'm doing so much for you guys. My YouTube's smashing it, my podcast's smashing it, and now I'm just trying to get my other socials back up and running, like my Facebook and Instagram. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying all the content, everybody. I'm not going to bring the live streams back to the Facebook at the moment. I'm just sticking to my YouTube recorded videos for you all, and I hope you're all enjoying them. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben, everyone. I love you all. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Gardening with Ben. I hope you have found some useful tips and inspiration for your own gardening and allotment journey. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a new episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love for you to leave a review and share the podcast with fellow gardening enthusiasts. Your support helps us grow this community and continue bringing you great content. You can also follow us on social media on every platform called Gardening with Ben for daily gardening tips and updates. Happy gardening, and until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben.